Welcome to our Nirvana Day observance. For Scout Sunday last week, our State Assembly chaplain, Reverend Bob Oshta, shared a message reflecting on how the essence of the Scout Oath applies to Scouts and Sangha alike. For us gathered today, I would like to share the rephrased Scout Oath and its reflection on our interconnection with the greater global community. So with palms pressed together, please join me in Gassho. I affirm my allegiance to all humankind. I thoughtfully recognize and take upon myself the obligations and responsibilities of a true human being. On my honor, I will do my best to make my training an example. My status and my influence count strongly for creating a better world where we can live nurturing patience, harmony, and peace. To this, I pledge my sacred honor. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda. Good morning. Ohayo gozaimasu. February, being the shortest month of the year, is already racing by. Last night, guided by Junior Young Buddhist Association President Sydney Takeda, our advisor, Koichi Sensei, our sous chef of spaghetti, Mr. Paul Del Bene, and our boss of sauce, Cheryl Liu, our junior YBA served up a wonderful spaghetti feed for 250 seated, and I think another 100 takeout orders. Wow. Last Sunday, Troop 569 leader, Dr. Shannon Suo, and our first year Cub Scout Metta Award teacher, Rinban Dennis Fujimoto, shared with us how we can choose to live the golden chain every day of our lives. We were also fortunate to hear the Scout Oath rephrased by Eagle Scout Reverend Bob, who taught our Metta Padma class for the previous 32 years. Out of curiosity, I was wondering who in our Hondo had participated in previous Metta Padma classes. I see you out there, right? Yeah. Can you remind me what the translation for Padma is? Girls? Yeah? Padma is the sacred lotus, right? Sacred lotus flower, right? And do you remember the meaning of metta? 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 Unselfish love. Great. Close. Yeah, unselfish love, which of course is how your parents think of you, right? Well, on behalf of our temple, I would like to thank all of our Scout leaders for unselfishly caring for the development of our children and young adults and contributing to the World Friendship Fund. We cannot thank you enough for your guidance and efforts in keeping Scouting vibrant in our temple and within our community at large. By the way, there was one other event last Sunday. Remember that? It was the Super Bowl. Right? Did anyone eat chicken wings? Anybody eat chicken wings? Well, you might be surprised to know that our nation enjoyed something like 1.3 billion chicken wings on that one day. That's billion with a B. The National Football League crowned world champion New England Patriots with their fifth Super Bowl championship, which is a record, right? But of course, I'm thinking 1.3 billion wings. To put that number in perspective, were we to place those wing to wing, the chain would make 28 laps around the home stadiums from Atlanta to the Meadowlands in New Jersey. Or it would circle the Grand Canyon 120 times. So can you imagine that? You tune into the game. If you tuned into the game, you witnessed the first Super Bowl in overtime ever. The first time a team trailing by more than 10 points at halftime came back to win. Coming back from a 28-3 deficit, with a record 93 plays of winning offense and 466 yards in the air. But me not being much of a football fan, I'm still trying to wrap my head around 1.3 billion chicken wings. But as February winds down and our sports program builds up to March Madness, I would like to thank our attendance chair, Carol Tamai, our sports committee chairman, Marty Matsuda, and his tireless team of parent coordinators for keeping our sports program meaningful. Could our players raise a hand? Let's see you out there. Right? I know you're out there. Yeah? Okay, wonderful. Okay, so as you build up to March and tournament basketball, no matter what the score is, keep playing hard, okay? Think of the Patriots. Think of correct effort, okay? No matter what the score, keep doing your best, and you'll have fun. Keep in mind that when you wear a Betsuin jersey, you represent our temple. You represent your family. And you know what? When you take off your jersey, you represent our temple. You represent our families. So no matter what, when you're open and you catch the ball, shoot. Okay? As RB used to say, if no one shoots, the best you can hope for is a 0-0 tie. Well, this year, even more than records of Super Bowl 51, it reminded me of my high school vocabulary and Latin teacher, Mrs. Johnson, at Stagg High School in Stockton. See, she was responsible for teaching us the Roman numerals. So, for instance, we started with number 1, yeah. And then slowly we built up to number 10, right? And so at the Super Bowl, when I saw L-I, I thought, Lee? What is this? And so I had to dig back to the memory banks to figure out that L-I was 51. So here in February, on this day, 2,500 years ago, was this, MMD. So 2,500 years ago. Okay? On this day, we take time to consider and observe one of the most significant events in our Buddhist tradition. For it was in this month, on February 8th, that the historical Shakyamuni Buddha died at age 80 and entered to the realm that we know as Nirvana. The nature of Nirvana has been contemplated and described for centuries. Over the hundreds of years since the historical Buddha died, countless articles and scholarly papers and texts have been written to describe Nirvana. Buddhist scholars have explained that Nirvana is this entrance into a realm of limitless peace. Whether such is or is not, who is to know for sure? What we do know is that a life well lived will lead to a life with few, if any, regrets. A poem shared by our former bishop, Sensei Koshin Ogui, touched upon such a concept. And in his poem, it reads, "You are just good as you are. Even the day and month of your death is just good." And I thought about that. You are just good as you are. Even the day and month of your death is just good. And in that, I think that Ogui Sensei was teaching for us to just live with the best effort that we can. Live with all of our heart. Just love. Love unselfishly. In other words, just care. For when the time comes, we can let go with no regret. We consider for a moment that the Shakyamuni Buddha died in the year 483 BCE. this would place his entrance into Nirvana 2,500 years ago exactly. And today, our Nirvana Day observance could be thought of a 912,500th day service, the Hoji service for the historical Buddha. That term, Hoji, literally translates to mean Dharma event or a matter of truth. In our tradition, the Hoji memorial service is held every 7 days for 7 weeks after one's death. So here, typically, a family would request a Hoji service from Rinban Fujimoto, and he would be happy to assist. The Hoji are represented as the 7th day memorial, the 14th day memorial, 21st day, all the way up to the 49th day. Subsequent to that, Hoji services are held on the 100th day, 1st year, 3rd year, and all the way up to 33rd year. The beauty of our Hoji tradition is that it allows us to come to grips with our loss gradually over time. More often, nowadays, as our longevity has increased, it is not uncommon for some families to observe a 50th year or even a 100th year memorial service to recall how a person lived, how unselfishly they brought meaning to those gathered, and reflect upon the richness that our loved ones have brought to our lives. And so on this Nirvana Day, we think upon the teachings of the Buddha. Whether we find ourselves new to a temple community or we subconsciously awaken to the interconnection of generations long since past, we have opportunities to commemorate the death of family members and friends at Hoji. In doing so, we have a moment to take time out of the busyness and routine of our lives, so well scheduled, but pause instead to sit quietly together to more thoughtfully realize the cherished memories and significance and life experiences of those whom we love and of those whom we have lost, and to more fully appreciate the causes and conditions that have helped us to live the lives that we now treasure. And when we think about that, we recognize that there are no accidents in life. There are no accidents in life. There's cause and condition, cause and effect. Hoji services do provide a wonderful opportunity for surviving friends and family to more fully appreciate this truth of impermanence and to reflect upon our interconnectedness. We sit quietly and mon po, listen to the Dharma. For when we stop to quietly listen, we may find that just like young Prince Siddhartha, in our lives, we too begin searching for happiness. We too are searching for meaning. And if we are fortunate, we will find that it is meaning in life, in being service to others, that we can find fulfillment in our lives. The historical Buddha lived 2,500 years ago. His life stories and experiences and teachings were shared with followers, just as we are here in oral language known as Pali. And it would be many years later that the sutra were translated from Pali into Sanskrit, from Sanskrit to Chinese, from Chinese to Japanese, and then Japanese to English so that the teachings could be shared more fully. So then, on this Nirvana Day, let us consider for a moment that while the Shakyamuni Buddha lay on his deathbed, surrounded by friends and fellow monks, gathered as we are here today, the Buddha shared one of his most powerful teachings. To all who were there by his side, to his fellow monks, the Buddha said, "All things change. All things are impermanent. Knowing this, let the Dharma be your guide and strive to awaken." The Buddha's words were not, "Continue to follow my teachings and do not change a thing." He did not say, "Do as I say, for my way is the only way." Instead, the Buddha asks us to wake up, to live each day fully and with clarity, so that we might live appreciating each precious moment, taking nothing for granted. Just as the poem shared by Ogui Sensei reminds us, you are just good as you are. Even the day and month of your death is just good. Said another way, as we journey along our Buddhist path, our journey to reality, we recognize that because life is constantly changing, we should always do our best. We should always do our best to appreciate each unrepeatable moment and each precious day, trying to live, not taking for granted, all that gives meaning to our lives. And when we are fortunate to experience metta, the joy of true unconditional caring, is up to us to hold on to and help it bloom. When we can live with such clarity, we can live appreciating each moment of every day we know will come only once. Then we can truly treasure the gift of friendship and embrace one another completely. So as we close today's Nirvana Day service with palms pressed together, please join me in Gassho. I affirm my allegiance to all humankind. I thoughtfully recognize and take upon myself the obligations and responsibilities of a true human being. On my honor, I will do my best to make my training an example. My status and influence count strongly for creating a better world where we can live nurturing patience, harmony, and peace. To this, I pledge my sacred honor. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda, Namanda.